5 phones, all still genuinely worth buying in 2026, but almost nobody's talking about them anymore. 2 are hiding in plain sight on store shelves, overshadowed by their newer, more expensive siblings. 1 isn't even sold new anymore, and that's exactly why it made this list. We're talking 6 years of guaranteed updates, flagship technology sold at half price, and a phone Apple doesn't even make anymore that's still worth hunting down. Number 5 is the one everyone assumes is a downgrade. They're wrong. $499 sounds like a mid-range phone. It doesn't act like one. The Galaxy A56 5G packs a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display running at 120 Hz, protected by Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. Specs you'd expect on something twice the price. The camera setup is a triple array, a 50-megapixel main sensor, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 5-megapixel macro lens backed by a 5,000 mAh battery with 45-watt fast charging. Samsung also built an awesome intelligence, their AI toolkit, with features like circle to search baked directly into the interface. But here's the number that actually matters more than any of that: 6 years of operating system and security updates. Buy this phone today, and Samsung is still promising to patch it in the early 2030s. Most phones at this price get abandoned by their manufacturer in 3 years or less, which means you're eventually running outdated, unpatched software whether you want to or not. The A56 sidesteps that problem entirely. It's not the flashiest phone Samsung makes. It's arguably the smartest one to actually own for the long haul. At $549, you get something Samsung doesn't advertise loudly enough: last year's flagship technology, repackaged and sold for a fraction of the price. That's what the FE, Fan Edition's line, actually is. It takes the core experience of a Galaxy S flagship and strips away the premium price tag while keeping the performance that matters day to day. And unlike most budget phones, this one is built to be fixed, not replaced. iFixit, the independent repair authority that tears phones apart and rates them on how serviceable they are, gave the S24 FE 7 out of 10 for repairability. That's a genuinely high score in an industry where phones are increasingly designed to be thrown away rather than opened up. Crack the screen or kill the battery after 2 years, and you're not necessarily buying a whole new phone, you're just getting the broken part replaced. In a market full of glued shut budget phones, that alone makes the S24 FE worth its price. Everyone's chasing the Pixel 10a right now. That's exactly why the 9a is the smarter buy. It's last year's model, still officially sold by Google, and it carries the same computational photography the brand is famous for. The kind of processing that lets a mid-range camera sensor produce results that compete with phones costing hundreds more. You still get the full suite of on-device AI tools, like Magic Eraser for cleaning up photos and Google's translation and calling features running locally on the phone. The only real thing you're giving up compared to the 10a is bragging rights to the newest chip generation and a couple of the most recent AI additions that Google reserves for its current flagship budget phone. Meanwhile, the price has already dropped now that the spotlight has moved on to the newer model. That's simply how the smartphone release cycle works. You're not buying an outdated phone, you're buying the same phone one hype cycle later for meaningfully less money. This phone launched at $700 as a genuine flagship foldable. Today, Motorola has quietly pulled it from its own official store. Newer Razr models have taken its place in the lineup, and third-party retailers are now selling remaining stock for around $400. That's nearly half off, and nothing about the phone itself changed to justify that drop. It's the exact same hardware that impressed reviewers when it launched. You still get the full foldable experience: a large outer display, big enough to check notifications, reply to messages, and even take photos without ever unfolding the phone. Open it up, and you get a vivid 6.9-inch main screen running at 120 Hz. Build quality held up consistently across review after review, with a hinge mechanism that Motorola has now refined across multiple generations. This is what happens when a genuinely good phone simply stops being the newest thing in the room. The technology doesn't get worse, it just gets cheaper, and most shoppers never think to look for it. Apple discontinued this phone in February of 2025, replacing it first with the iPhone 16e, and then, more recently, with the iPhone 17e. You cannot buy a brand new one anymore. Not from Apple, not from any authorized store, and it's still #1 on this list. On the secondhand and refurbished market, a well-maintained iPhone SE gets you into Apple's entire ecosystem: iMessage, FaceTime, the App Store, years of remaining software support, for a fraction of what any current iPhone costs. costs. If your family member or friend just wants something simple, reliable, and unmistakably an iPhone without spending $600 or more on a current model, a used SE in good condition still does the job honestly. The one thing to watch for is battery health, since these units have been in circulation for a while now, and a worn battery is a cheap, easy fix compared to buying a whole new phone. It's the only phone on this entire list you'll never find sitting new on a store shelf. It's the one worth hunting down anyway. What ties all 5 of these together is simple. None of them are the newest, flashiest phones on the market right now, and that's exactly the point. Every year, phone companies push you toward the latest release, the biggest number, the newest chip. But real value in 2026 isn't about chasing what's new. It's about knowing which slightly older, slightly quieter option still does everything you actually need it to do for a fraction of the price. So here's the real question. Which one of these 5 would actually fit your life? Maybe it's the long-term reliability of the A56, maybe it's the repairability of the S24 FE, maybe it's hunting down a secondhand iPhone SE just to stay in Apple's ecosystem without the current price tag. Whatever it is, drop it in the comments. I want to know which of these 5 phones you'd actually walk out of a store with. And if this kind of breakdown helped you make sense of the smartphone market, subscribe. There are more videos coming that dig into the real value hiding in plain sight. The phones, the deals, and the decisions the tech industry doesn't advertise loudly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.